similarities between the 2025 State of the Growth and Prosperity. The same language was echoed in the 2026 State of the Nation Address. Mr. Speaker, from 2025 to 2026, we are still seeing cost of living remains high. Businesses continue to struggle. Mr. Speaker, my senior colleague, Honorable Agaga, spoke about vessels fighting pirates. But in everything that we do, you need to give to Caesar what Caesar deserves, and also give credit to who the credit is supposed to go to. Mr. Speaker, these vessels on the high seas were purchased by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government. So he should have told us that the vessels were purchased by the previous government, but he shielded it and rather praised their government, who did not buy these vessels. Mr. Speaker, this government promised us a 24-hour economy. In the 2025 State of the Nation Address, the President said continuous production, increased productivity, massive job creation, a system where one job will support 3 jobs. Mr. Speaker, in 2026, there is no clear national framework, no new industries has emerged, no employment statistics have been provided relating to this promise. No budget line clearly supports this 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Finance Minister was here yesterday. He spoke about brilliant macro indicators. Mr. Speaker, in all these macro indicators, with these brilliant macro indicators, the end product should be jobs. Mr. Speaker, in any economy, with these macro indicators, the economy should expand. As the economists will say, there should be expansion in the economy. When there's expansion, meaning there's going to be creation of jobs, banks are going to open branches, retailers are going to open branches, there's access to cheaper funds. Mr. Speaker, if all these brilliant macroeconomic indicators, we are not seeing the jobs. Rather, they came here and told us that there's 1 million jobs being created, but Ghana Statistical Service has told this nation that it's rather 600,000 jobs that has been created. Mr. Speaker, the Finance Minister, Deputy Finance Minister, also said that Ghana reference rate has reduced. Mr. Speaker, we are not eating macro indicators. We are not eating macro indicators. They should feel it in their pockets. Mr. Speaker, he said there are banks in this country that is lending to borrowers at 11.70%, and some are even lending to borrowers at 10%. Mr. Speaker, I dare the Deputy Finance Minister to come back to the House and tell this country the banks that are lending at 11% and 10%, so that our women who have been deceived that there's going to be a women's development bank can go to these banks and access the 10% or the 11%. Mr. Speaker, if he's not able to do that, then, Mr. Speaker, with all humility, I ask that if your power as the Speaker, you ask them to expunge that part of the 10% and 11% being lent to borrowers to be.
Thank you very much. Let me now go to Akotia. Honorable Bernard Bediako. Honorable, you have 5 minutes.
10 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the State of the Nation's address ably presented to this House by His Excellency, the President of the Republic. Mr. Speaker, for the sake of time, I would want to dwell on corruption. Mr. Speaker, we are grateful at this time to have a president in the name of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, who is so confident to report to us his efforts in fighting corruption in his government. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama can be trusted. It is the case that every government attempts to deal with this endemic, but His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has a track record of doing so much to end this endemic. Mr. Speaker, I hold in my hands all the sonas as were presented by the former president of this republic, His Excellency Akufo-Addo. Mr. Speaker, it is the case that in most of the sonas that were presented to this House by His Excellency Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, he touched on corruption, but conspicuously missing in his State of the Nation's address presented on the day of 20th February 2020, which was an election year. The president deliberately avoided the canker corruption. Mr. Speaker, as if it was just an error on his part or a mistake. In another election year in 2024, the president did not have the courage to talk about corruption in his State of the Nation's address. Mr. Speaker, it is the case that the president at the time, His Excellency Akufo-Addo, who was campaigning, assured the Republic, the people of Ghana, that he would adopt the ANAS style to fight corruption. The ANAS principle was he never mentioned it after getting the power that he got from the Republic, the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, introduced ORA. And it is never the case that ORA has failed. And I'll prove it to this House. ORA has brought about changes that would eventually see to the end of this endemic. Because of ORA, as we speak, because of ORA, we have had certain bills presented to this House to end the endemic. There is the value for money audit, the value for money office bill, which has been presented to this House, which, Mr. Speaker, is going to end waste and inflation of contracts. There is the state and disposal of public assets bill, which is also currently before this House. It is going to end this long, Mr. Speaker, it is going to end this long problem of dissipating public assets. My Lord, what is even good is the fact that that particular law is going to be in this House, and it is going to give the people of Parliament, the House of the Republic, of the representatives, that power to vet any asset that is going into the hands of any person in the Republic. In any case, that bill is also seeking to end the long problem of public servants buying state assets. My Lord, Mr. Speaker, in the SONA of 2025, the President also stated
I grant you 1 minute. I grant him 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, there are cases that are currently in court as a result of ORA. The SkyTrain case is in court. $1 just because somebody was interested in putting out that money. The National Service rot is also in court. We all know what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it is not the case. In conclusion, it is not the case, as the President has said. Every time a case is in court, the people have to be given a hearing. It is not the case that anybody is being persecuted. In the last administration, Mr. Speaker, in the last administration, the Honorable Atuforsin's case, the judgment was delivered on the 6th day of June 2024, 8 years after the Akufo-Addo administration assumed office. Even in the Chachuchekata case, the judgment was given on the 18th day of June 2008, 8 years after the government was in power. The Bafuboni case was the case, the judgment was delivered on the 12th day of May 2020, 3.5 years after Akufo-Addo was in power. The Sedinam Tamaklo case, the judgment was delivered on the 16th day of April 2024, 8 years after the government was in power. The wheels of respectfully that for those who are calling for the blood to those who are calling.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members from Akwetia, let's jump to the next constituency, Akemoda. Akwasi, I give you 6 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I thank you for this space, and I want to take this opportunity to wish all Ghanaians a happy independence celebration. Mr. Speaker, a celebration that cocoa farmers cannot be part of, a celebration that cocoa farmers cannot be proud of, because for a country that they have suffered so much to develop, at a point in time, a president says he cannot pay them the worth of their toil. That is the bane of the cocoa farmer. Mr. Speaker, we engage some cocoa farmers in Eastern region, including Akwetia. They are telling us to relay this information to the president, that if the president wants to cut their hair and take off monies from their yields, it has to start from him, the president, and his appointees. Let it start from Jubilee House. Let there be salary cuts from Jubilee House through the ministers, DCs, everywhere. It is not about the Cocoa Board Senior Staff Association losing 10% of their salaries. And they are not happy. They are complaining, Mr. Speaker. They are complaining. During our time of office, when we got to the crunch, our appointees were made to have salary cuts. All of us, we all had salary cuts. And so if the president is saying that he took this decision in a painful manner, the pain will be very much felt if he starts from his salary and then he continues with chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff, the ministers, the DCs, and all that. So, Speaker, when my colleague, Honorable John Darko, was talking, the chief whip, Honorable the was not too comfortable that he said government appointees are involved in Galamsey. So, Speaker, Mr. Chief Whip, Honorable Dafo, if you are minded, if you are not comfortable with the names that are being mentioned, the appointees that are involved in Galamsey, then you have to pay attention to the exposés. I can tender to this house a receipt that has been given to an illegal miner from the municipal chief executive of Brim Central that this is fine for illegal mining. Do district assemblies take fines from galamseyers? And then we'll end up having the EPA boss coming to tell us we need $35 million out of the taxpayers' money to clean the Brim River. Mr. Speaker, we're expecting the president to tell us the state of our rivers so that we would not agree if we have to release $35 million out of our taxpayers' money to clean the Brim River. The Galamsey menace, Mr. Speaker, is everywhere. And we expect the president to know those who are involved. Because when the president was in opposition, Mr. Speaker, he talked about the fact that it's the MCs and the government appointees who are involved in the Galamsey menace. I'm surprised that in government, with all the investigative machinery, the president is not able to know those who have made the Galamsey operations this worse. And then we have to take 35 million cedis, $35 million out of our taxpayers' money to clean the Brim River alone. How about other rivers, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the president talked about the fact that health workers must accept postings to the rural areas. When I went back to my constituency and I engaged a few health workers, they told me to remind the president that when he was campaigning, there were certain things he promised them. And so they thought the president was going to give an update and give a state of those promises. The president promised health workers to expand health infrastructure. When I wanted the attention, he didn't give me. Expand health infrastructure, your manifesto. Expand health infrastructure to ensure prompt employment and deployment of health professionals. Introduce risk exposure insurance for injuries or illness on the job. Provide on-site accommodation at health facilities and facilitate home ownership schemes. Your manifesto, 2024 manifesto. Vehicle tax waiver. Implement a well-regulated vehicle tax waiver scheme for health professionals. Offer scholarship for nurses and allied health workers to pursue PhD level education. These health workers, Mr. Speaker, we're expecting the president to give an update of all these promises. If you haven't given them any update, if you haven't made any move on these ones, why would you insist that you should get them to go to the rural areas when they are posted? Mr. Speaker, the president is reported to have said that the current war that is going on between Iran and US may
My brother, thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. I gave you one more. I gave you 1 minute. I granted you 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was going to say that the president shouldn't be apprehensive because he reported to this house that Thor is working. If Thor is working and Thor is already refining crude, why should we be afraid that the war is going to affect our energy situation?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me now go to Honorable Nelson Kofi Jabbar. Are you Nelson?
No. Is that because I'm here?
Yes. Let's hear you, my brother. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity for me to contribute to the statement, the State of the Nation address, powerfully delivered by the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, on the 27th of February 2026. Mr. Speaker, the President was very accurate, he was eloquent, he was straight to the point. Mr. Speaker, if you want to appreciate what I'm saying, then you've got to follow the road right away from Tetakwashi roundabout, go through Eastern Corridor, and get to Dambai, my constituency, where you will see a bridge. The bridge that I can also describe as a bridge on Oti River. Mr. Speaker, before this bridge will commence, Ghanaians from other constituencies like Krachi West, Krachi Chumru, Bandai, and the eastern part of the northern region always got stranded anytime they got to Dambai and the pontoon was in disorder. The pontoon was spoiled and they couldn't cross. Mr. Speaker, this is the president who promised on his word that if he's made the president of Ghana, he was going to see to it that the problem of transportation will be resolved. Mr. Speaker, not only on Dambai River, similar work is ongoing on the river Afram to Pandotoko. Work is ongoing on other places all over Ghana. This is true to the west of Ejumarwa, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, to continue, before His Excellency John Dramani Mahama assumed the state as the president, the interest rate of Ghana was somewhere beyond 30%. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, the interest rate today is well around 18%. This means that it can give the macro traders opportunity to have access to trading capital. They can borrow from banks. This will enable them to expand their businesses. Mr. Speaker, this was what we saw in the era of MPP, that even in their era, when some banks were struggling, they needed just recapitalization. They could not do that. They had to collapse over 200 banks in this country. Yes, over 200 microfinances. They collapsed it in this country. 450. I'm even being, Mr. Speaker, I am being magnanimous. I am being magnanimous with my words, Mr. Speaker. Now, the distressed banks, banks that are in distress and needed capitalization, Mr. Speaker, such as NIB, such as Agri Development Bank, ADB, Mr. Speaker, the President and through the Minister of Finance is providing recapitalization for these banks. We are not collapsing the banks, but we are rather recapitalizing them to make them to be economically viable and to be solvent so that they can serve the good people of Ghana. This is the difference between the MPP government and then the NDC government. Mr. Speaker, I also move on to talk about inflation. When His Excellency John Mahama assumed presidency, inflation was well over 23.5%. As we speak today, Mr. Speaker, inflation is down to 3.8%. Sometimes first in this era. Mr. Speaker, I continue also to talk about corruption. I want to talk about corruption. It is said that, Mr. Speaker, if you want to come to corruption, come with clean hands. The president was assertive, he was brave, he was courageous when he was commenting on corruption. Why? Is because he is clean. Why? Is because he is a man who is up to task when it comes to corruption. Mr. Speaker, barely 15 months into power, like in the SY government, when His Excellency Akufo-Addo was about 15 months into office, he already attained so many names in addition to his name. One of the names was a clearing agent. Another name was he was in the pocket of a private businessman. Another name was that the mother serpent of all corruption.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Nelson Kofi Jabab. So it is now the turn of Honorable Kojo Oponkroma. Honorable, you are ranking of the Committee on Economy. You are therefore allocated 10 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the motion currently before the House. Mr. Speaker, we on this side have just returned from a tour of farming communities, agro-processing sites, and engagements with the middle class of this country. And we regret to inform our colleagues on the other side that as we listen to you paint a very glossy picture of the state of the nation, we observe that there is a wide gap between your state of the nation and the lived experience of millions of our compatriots in the country. Mr. Speaker, this is happening. This wide gap, this wide dichotomy is because our friends who are in government are sitting here in Accra and are generating their own data. They are reading that data. They are believing that data. And they are telling the people on the ground that that is the reality on the ground. And Mr. Speaker, we are disappointed but not surprised. We are disappointed because for a party that claims that they support the grassroots of this country, it's surprising that in 1 year, in fact, it's disappointing rather, that in 1 year, they have forgotten about the realities on the ground and are sitting here quoting 70%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Just 1 year. But we are not surprised, Mr. Speaker, because as we had mentioned in 2024, a lot of the things that they were complaining about, they were just trying to capitalize on the genuine pain of the Ghanaian people. It's not that they had any honest answers to some of those issues. It's because we've heard them arguing in the last few days that the state of the nation is good and the state of the nation has improved. I want to respectfully submit to my colleagues that an improved state of the nation does not lie in the government statistics that you are repeating over and over. Honorable Member, an improved state of the nation should be identifiable in the lived experiences of people on the ground. For us, on the Committee on the Economy and Development, we are looking at three things: agric, industry, services. If you want to determine the true state of the nation, check the state of agriculture. As I mentioned, Mr. Speaker, we've just come back from the farms and the agro-processing sites. Talk to the rice farmers today. Rice farmers have borrowed money, cultivated rice, milled the rice, and have thousands of bags stored up in barns. Cannot find buyers because there is very little liquidity in town. Mr. Speaker, maize farmers, if you go to the north, maize farmers are complaining that they have cultivated maize. There are a lot of northern MPs who are here. If you stop reciting the numbers they've given you to recite in the chamber and you get on the ground, your maize farmers will tell you that they have borrowed money, they have cultivated maize, they have harvested the maize, it's stored in their barns, and they cannot get buyers. They cannot get buyers to buy because there's very little liquidity in town. Mr. Speaker, the cashew farmers in the Bono and Ahafo areas, are complaining that the prices that are being offered them and the liquidity that is not available is putting them in peril. And as for cocoa farmers, I think we've spoken enough about them. On our tour recently, it's not just the farmers. The purchasing clerks are losing a lot of money. Now we are finding people who have invested in cocoa farms who are saying that they are contemplating selling their farms to illegal miners because they think they'll make more value from there. Yam farmers, Mr. Speaker, are complaining up north. So if somebody says that the state of the nation has improved, he should check the state of the farmers. A nation in which the state of its farmers is getting worse cannot be a nation whose state has improved. Mr. Speaker, look at manufacturers. The question to ask is whether or not the Ghanaian manufacturer today is better off than he was in 2024. If you speak to the manufacturers, you find out that, for example, utility, including electricity bills, have gone up over about 28%. The cost of their locally produced raw materials, which they need for their production, is becoming unbearable for them in many instances. Mr. Speaker, if the Ghanaian manufacturer is worse off today than he was last year, the state of manufacturing cannot be better than it was last year. The state of the nation cannot be said to be better. Service providers, if our colleagues want to check, they should speak to the hairdressers. They should speak to the welders. They should speak to those who operate cold stores. They should speak to those who are doing computer coding. And they will tell you that they are worse off because today, among other things, even the cost of electricity is putting them out of business. So you can be here in the chamber and recite these numbers, that the state of the nation is better. The lived experience of the people on the ground is what the majority are looking out for. But Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned, we are not surprised because our colleagues have fixated on some things. For example, one of the things they are fixated on is trying to ace the inflation number. And so, as they have mentioned, my colleague tried to quote the number. He said it's 3.8. Let me respectfully remind him that just yesterday, they announced a new figure, 3.3. And we have argued that the method they are using, they can even get to zero very soon. But you see, what the people are measuring out there is cost of living. I've been on this side before defending inflation numbers. I'm telling you, take it from me, that what the people are measuring is cost of living. If what you are doing is heavily sterilizing about 62 billion Ghana cedis in the year 2025, and you are continuing with it, I'm telling you that inflation can even come down to zero with the method that you are using. But when people go out there and they are looking for an opportunity to even sell their goods, they will tell you that there's limited currency in circulation, there's very little money to generate demand. And Mr. Speaker, the sterilization they are doing is costing the Bank of Ghana so much that already the Bank of Ghana is beginning to prepare the grounds about the cost of their open market operations and how it's affecting their books. Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest statistics that exposes the fact that our colleagues on the other side are disconnected from reality is when they claim that in 9 months, 1 million people have found jobs in 9 months. I am sure that even the government statistician himself doesn't believe it. For our colleagues who are here, they themselves know that it is not true that 1 million youth have found jobs in 9 months. If it is true, why are the young people in your constituencies chasing you? Where are the jobs? Your 24-hour economy has become a hoax. Your 1 million coders, people are even looking for those who have supposedly graduated to give them contracts. We can't find the 1 million coders. Mr. Speaker, as for their other apprenticeship and job creation programs, the least said about it, the better. So where are these 1 million jobs that you claim you have created? As I have said, you can recite this number over and over again. The lived experience of the young Ghanaian out there is what will be measured at the end of the day. Mr. Speaker, now we are worried that where there are real numbers that should be investigated, our colleagues on the other side are running away from it. We have filed motions to investigate the $214 million loss on gold transactions. Every week we come to this chamber, we are not having an opportunity to move that motion. We have filed a motion to investigate the circumstances under which half of our gold reserves have been sold. Every week we come into this chamber, we are not being given an opportunity to investigate it. Those are the real numbers that need to be investigated. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation now is one of rebranding. PMMC rebranded to Gold Board. Kaswa to Takrady Road is now being rebranded that it is a big push project. The domestic gold purchase program which they inherited, they now call it Accelerated Reserve Accumulation. That's the state of the nation today, rebranding things that you have inherited. And Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation today is that the government is going back to increase borrowing. They've just announced that in addition to raising our domestic debt from 309 million, which they inherited, to 309 billion, they
Thank you so much. Yes, Honorable Potosu Kofi Richard. Hey,
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member for Whole Central.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, let me hear you. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker.
Hold on. Yes.
Speaker, let me pray you that we take one more in addition to the listed or the advertised names. I'm trying to reach agreement with my brother on the other side. In view of that, I pray that we add one more to the advertised numbers. Yes. Thank you very much. And if it's agreed, then from our side will be Ajia Ladi. Then she'll finish it for the day on our side. Thank you.
Speaker, that is workable to us. So on our side, the Honourable Member for Nkoko, Joseph Frimpong, will speak on our side as the last person. That's it.
Very well. So Honorable Kofi Richard, you have 5 minutes. Let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for delivering the State of the Nation address, such a laborious task, on the theme Building Prosperity, Restoring Hope. I want to say that it's not rhetorical, it is measurable. Between 2025 and 2026, that is January to February, Ghana's economic and educational sectors have witnessed concrete data-backed recovery and reform. Mr. Speaker, in January 2025, we inherited an economy in distress. The NDC inherited an economy in distress. The only thing left was the country being mortgaged. But here we stand, and I overheard some of our friends on the other side saying that the president came here to lament. For example, if you owe a debt and you pay, and you make people aware that you have finished paying your debt, are you lamenting or you are giving them encouragement? Now, the Ghana reference rate, we inherited 29 plus 2. It's now 14 plus 2. Smart businesses are now referencing their loans. They are going for lower rate interest loans to pay off the high rate interest loan they took in 2024 in order to remain afloat. The Ghana cedi has appreciated over time, 40.7% against the US dollar, 30.9% against the pound, and 24% against the euro. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the 24-hour economy that we passed in this house is not just a talk. It's a reality, and it's procedural. Very soon we shall see the fruits of the 24 hours, and we shall applaud the president, because it's not anything that we can just put down and say this is 24 hours. It's an integral part of our economy, so we shall all see it very soon. Mr. Speaker, in the education sector, we are investing in human capital. Education remains the backbone of sustainable economic and transformation. And since 2025, we have witnessed this in this chamber. Hitherto, Mr. Speaker, myself and the Gen Zs, we thought that in governing the country, it's all about going to borrow. But now the dynamics have changed. We have a creative president who has made us aware that it's not the borrowing that matters, but it's how well and how prudent you manage the economy, and that's what we are witnessing now. We are here today, and we keep talking about the cocoa farmers. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that if a cocoa farmer needed $20,000 to import a car in 2024, he was going to spend almost 340,000 Ghana cedis. But today, here we stand. That same farmer in need of $20,000 needs about 20 to 22,000 Ghana cedis to import the same car. Look at the difference that he has saved. So it is not worth it saying that the cocoa price has been reduced for the cocoa farmer. It's rather based on what the president has done to this country by making us aware that we are on a better mission. Mr. Speaker, the president made us aware that he has moved from the Old Testament, that is Lamentation, to the New Testament, that is Acts of the Apostles. He is acting now. So he says we are on the runway, ready to take off. So let's all put on our belts so that we don't fall from our seats. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kofi Richards. So now let me turn to Honorable Frechi. Honorable, you have 5 minutes.
Oh, no, I'm a chair. 10 minutes.
Honorable member, you have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I'm a chairperson of a committee.
Chairperson of?
10 minutes.
No, hold on. You are chairperson of which committee?
Chieftaincy, Culture and Religious Affairs.
Well, honorable members, it appears that is true. That committee is chaired by the minority, and therefore, Honorable Frechi, you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you hear the comment on the floor, I believe that's why the president, during the State of the Nation address, refused to give a good update on what is happening in our chieftaincy and religious sector of the economy. And we all know how things are happening up north and more brewing up in other regions. I believe, and I also expected that the president would have given her the state of our chieftaincy issues. But, Mr. Speaker, you know something. In Offensive North, we have a lot of cocoa farmers, and I've checked, and unfortunately, no cocoa farmer has been given a borehole. The boreholes that were promised to cocoa farmers, that they're going to drill boreholes in cocoa farms. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, nothing is happening. Then, Mr. Speaker, the president talked about 1 million jobs. We have 276 constituencies. So I would like to ask our members of parliament here, at least averagely, each constituency should be talking about 3,006 jobs. Can we as members of parliament talk about the fact that these 3,600 jobs have been created in each constituency? It's quite unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, the president is a gentleman, and I like to appreciate. But unfortunately, we know the president is supposed to be the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. But you know what? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that he is now the commander-in-chief of renaming and rebranding.
Why am I saying that? Renaming and rebranding the Ghana National Apprenticeship Program was launched by His Excellency the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on the 13th of March 2024. What did we see? It was relaunched again by the President on the 30th of April 2025. That's unfortunate. Then you know what? Akentinapia Minka University of Skill Training and Entrepreneurial Development was renamed again by Mr. President through a bill that he brought to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, Simon Didon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development has been renamed. Mr. Speaker, the university, the CK Tandem University of Technology and Applied Sciences has also been renamed. Mr. Speaker, Planting for Food and Jobs has also been renamed. Yeah. So no wonder that we can say this is the Commander-in-Chief of rebranding and renaming. Mr. Speaker, if you talk about State of the Nation address, you are to give the state of what you have been able to do. You are to tell us what you have been able to do. We are all here in this country when we witness, sadly, 6 young, energetic women lost their life for the fact that they are looking for jobs. And we are telling us 1 million jobs have been created. We are telling this nation that 3,600 jobs have been created in constituency. It's quite unfortunate. And we hope that the president will come again and give a better State of the Nation address. What did we see? It's like being read the budget statement. That's what we saw. It's like we are on the campaign grounds. What they promised to do during the campaign is not what is happening. Mr. Speaker, let me come to education. I was happy to hear the committee chair for education talking about the president's commitment to build schools at the basic level. That is true. They committed 10% of the district assembly common fund to build new schools. Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that the president will give us the update on these schools, but nothing was said. Mr. Speaker, they said that 10% of the district assembly common fund was going to be used for furniture. Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that the president will come here and give us an update on the furniture that was being bought during 2025 budget year. Mr. Speaker, we were told that a lot of textbooks were going to be printed for our schools. We were hoping that the president would have come to give us an update on this. Mr. Speaker, on TVET, it's quite unfortunate that the president decided not to talk about technical and vocational education. Mr. Speaker, it's like repeating the old same story. It's like we are campaigning and campaigning and campaigning. In 2025, the president committed to build 6 TVET centers of excellence. Mr. Speaker, when the president came again to give us the State of the Nation in 2026, he's talking about the same thing he wants to do to state centers. So which is which? The question I keep asking is a chameleon. And I keep saying the promises are so beautiful, so sweet, but the real state of the nation is what is happening in our constituencies. The people are not feeling it. The farmers don't have any funds to procure anything. Because of sterilization, there's no money for farmers to buy. During 2024 and the previous years, even though things were high, quote unquote, people had money to buy. So if you are talking about state of a nation where people don't have money to be able to procure anything, even when inflation is -5, they can't do anything. So the real state of nation needs to be told to the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, over 5,000 basic schools are still under trees and makeshift structures. Over 5,000, and you are aware, in your constituency, Mr. Speaker, in our constituencies, we know, and due to the good measures of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, we were able to implement free secondary education. Mr. Speaker, because of the boldness of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, we were able to implement free secondary education. Because of that, enrollment at our secondary schools have improved. Mr. Speaker, at this time, we were hoping that the president would have committed more money and also giving same to improve on infrastructure, but up to 70% because of the good work that was done by Bawumia and Akufo-Addo. Demand has improved and demand has gone up, so we are supposed to commit more funds to improve on infrastructure in our second cycle school. Unfortunately, the president refused to give us an update on that. Mr. Speaker, as we are talking now, 30,000 of our basic schools are in need of teachers. In fact, we are having a deficit of a minimum of 30,000 teachers. Mr. Speaker, the president promised in 2025 to recruit 50,000 teachers and 10,000 non-teaching staff. Mr. Speaker, he listened to the president for 2 hours in this chamber, but nothing was said about teacher recruitment in 2025. So we want the Mr. President to come and tell us what did he do regarding teacher recruitment. If the member of parliament responsible for Tatale Sanguli district is here, Mr. Speaker, 20% of the primary schools are staffed by a single teacher. If you go to a primary school, it's staffed by a single teacher. We were hoping that the president, who said he was resetting Ghana, would have talked about what is the teacher situation in our schools. Now the people-teacher ratio now exceeds 1 to 40 people. What was the president's promise to Ghanaians? That he promised that right after teacher training colleges, you are going to go straight into teaching. You are going to employ directly, but unfortunately, the 6,005 that Akufo-Addo Bawumia even employed, unfortunately, nothing has been said about them, and nothing was done about them. So, not mentioning anything about teacher situation, Mr. Speaker, is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. And we want Mr. President to come back, because you are talking about the human capital of this nation. And if we don't build the basic education, we cannot build. So we need to the commitment to hire the 50,000 teachers. Mr. President refused to say something about it, and we were hoping that Mr. President will not just be commander-in-chief of renaming and rebranding, but will be commander-in-chief of ensuring that our classrooms have teachers, our classrooms have infrastructures, our classrooms have the textbooks to be able to support the education in this country. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Frechi. So now, upon the admission of the application, I will call Honorable Hajia Ladi. Hajia, are you? Is Hajia chairperson?
I'm ranking,
Hajia, you have.
ranking, and that is my chairman who just.
Oh, okay. Then you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to comment on the statement on the state of the nation that was presented to this House by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation is supposed to spell out the reality on the ground about what is happening in the nation. And that was exactly what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did. Mr. Speaker, yesterday it was very interesting when I listened to some of my colleagues talking about transportation and going to the extent of saying that we have many people being stuck along the road and they don't have means of transport to go home. And interestingly, this was coming from our colleagues at the opposite side. I want to remind them that if there are people to blame or there is a government to blame, then it is the immediate past government that is to blame. Mr. Speaker, interesting enough, they have forgotten that in the name of improving transportation, they came to this house so 2 million cedis, $2 million was paid out. $2 million was paid out to somebody whom nobody knows, and nothing, not even a train, the tire of a train has been produced, not to talk of a train in the sky. Not even the trains on the ground were supported, not to talk about, we didn't even see a drawing by any PY child to show this. Mr. Speaker, we still have the case of the auctioning of buses. That is Metro, Mass, especially buses. The case is still pending. If they had maintained those buses and worked on them, I believe that those buses would have done a very good job and would have supported our people. And yet, they auctioned it and we cannot even tell. I wouldn't want to talk so much because it is under investigation, but they shouldn't forget that they have a problem. Mr. Speaker, in this same house, we heard about the procurement of e-buses, that is the electronic buses. And we were told categorically in this house that there were 10 that had already been procured and was in this country. Unfortunately, immediately they left power when we went in to look at the buses. And I'm a member of the Transport Committee. There were only 3. Only 3, Mr. Speaker. These are the same people who will sit today and talk to us about transportation, when these are some of the things that they have done when it comes to transport. Mr. Speaker, the issue of roads in this country is one of the things that the MPP government used as if it was a national anthem. Year of roads, 1. Year of roads, 2. And yet, when they came to power, immediately they stopped the construction of roads, including the road from Bolga, Boku, Pulmakom. Immediately it was stopped. And that has affected Pusuga itself, because the lot 11, which was supposed to be constructed, had to be stopped. And up till now, we are still making sure and trying to ensure that that road is done. No road have they successfully completed, except coming to stop the cocoa roads under the fact that they were doing an audit. Which audit up till now, Mr. Speaker, we haven't seen any report. Mr. Speaker, 10 million in doing an audit is something that we need to actually investigate. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about gender, and for that matter, women. Mr. Speaker, I wish to congratulate the NDC government, and for that matter, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for actually considering women and knowing that women are a group of people that need to be recognized, and that we are not partners in any other dubious means, but in projecting and ensuring that this country moves forward, and that the first female vice president was nominated and elected by the NDC, and so today we have a female vice president in the person of Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajuma. Mr. Speaker, if you look at our educational status in this country, the girl child is very important. Following activities, we have realized that the girl child has not always had a good stand. After getting to about 11, 12, and then ensuing years because of a monthly periods, some of them do stop education or they stop school because they do not have sanitary pads to support them. This, our government has ensured that today every girl child in school who needs it will have and has access to sanitary pads, and so no girl child would say she would not be able to go to school. Mr. Speaker, all along, I have listened to the MPP that have always touted the issue of women. Mr. Speaker, it's painful and annoying for us to note that in the ECOWAS Parliament, there is no woman from the other side. The MPP have no female representation. I had been alone and I am still alone being the female in ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Speaker, in the last Parliament, they had 20 women and we had 20 women. Ask me today how many do they have? 10. While we have made progress and we've gotten 31. What happened? You couldn't even support them. You couldn't support them to ensure that they increase the numbers, and not even supporting them, you decided to make sure that you reduce their numbers, and yet you will sit and say you are supporting women to be part of decision making. Mr. Speaker, the issue of the cedi against the dollar, the president said it, and I will condone and continue to support the fact that yes, we, the NDC, and for that matter led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, we ensured that the cedi has been strengthened against not only the dollar but all other currencies. We have not locked the dollar and given the key to the IGP. And so today, a bag of rice that was selling at 700 Ghana cedis today is being sold at 400 or 450 Ghana cedis. And for that matter, sugar is bought at about 450 Ghana cedis, Mr. Speaker. And we, those fasting, we are able to buy sugar, distribute, buy sugar, and support persons that need to be supported. And I think it is quite gratifying. Mr. Speaker, Hajj was costing us 700, that is 70,000 plus new Ghana cedis, and 700 plus old Ghana cedis to go on pilgrimage. Today, we are paying not even 600, but 500 plus. Mr. Speaker, we cannot be more grateful than that. Mr. Speaker, when I hear our colleagues on the opposite side talking about cocoa farmers and we have reduced their prices and we are, for God's sake, who are those who changed the bags of the fertilizers, poured them into other bags and sold them out and refused to give it or to sell it to cocoa farmers? You are the people who did it. Today you want to tell us, that Mr. Speaker, when we talk about agriculture, recently we saw the issue of the Kwalugu Dam, where 11.9 million was spent. The Kwalugu Dam was supposed to help produce tomato for the...
Thank you very much, Honorable Ladi. Honorable members, you take the very last debater, and that is our brother from Nkoko, Honorable Frimpong.
Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about the cocoa farmers and the problems they are facing. The issue is the cocoa is not even bought. They are not paid. The issue is they don't have money to pay them. So cocoa farmers are dropping out of school because of non-payment. Now they carry the cocoa to the clerk and tell him to give you whatever you can. That is the state of the cocoa farmer today. So please, you shouldn't sit here and joke with it. You go to the villages and people are suffering. No money. If you have ever been at the cocoa village before, sometimes the money to buy even medicine for your sick child is not there. So please, you are privileged to be here. Don't joke with the sufferings of the cocoa farmers. And then, Mr. Speaker, President said he distributed 720 beds to 13,000 farmers. And when you divide, you get 0.5. I don't know how the president can give half live bed for farmers to rear. So that statement is false. And he was bold to tell us here. So, Speaker, my issue is not about the reduction of the price. If it is even 10 cedis, pay them. You are not paying farmers. That's what my beef is. And in Parliament here, we are also suffering. No money anywhere. And you talk about reduction in inflation. Where is it coming from? If you don't pay, who spends? This is the time that the cocoa money should have boosted the economy. No money. So in the villages, the economy is zero. They are not growing. Nobody is spending. So how do you talk about inflation coming down when you don't spend and you can't even pay MPs and give us our entitlement? You are all suffering, but you won't talk. So please be sincere to yourselves and let's say the truth, and the truth shall set us free. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of today's debate. As we said yesterday, tomorrow is public holiday and members will be traveling to their constituencies to join their assemblies in celebrating the Independence Day. And therefore, we bring proceedings to a close so that members can get ample and enough time to go to their constituencies. So, leadership, let him come to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. But I don't think we have done 5 hours yet. We have? No. All right. Mr. Speaker, if we've gone beyond 5 hours, then we are in your hands. Other than that, I was going to move. I thought we've done less than 5 hours. Thank you.
Yes, honorable member, we might not have done 5 hours. We started at 10. So that's why I'm coming to you to move for an adjournment.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I didn't know you were going to ask me to move because I know we haven't done 5 hours and we have to move the motion to adjourn the House. But one announcement, if you will permit me, is that I did indicate in the business statement this morning that we are sitting on Monday and it will be from 10 o'clock to 2 p.m. and we'll close. I just want to reiterate the announcement for members.
Very well. Honorable members, when you look at the order paper, we see a lot of statements, so many of them. Now we are even dropping some of the statements that has appeared and reappeared on the order paper. So leadership has taken decision that we use Mondays to clear statements and outstanding questions. So we are starting on this coming Monday. We will use Monday to clear all the statements from members and outstanding questions. So that is why we have scheduled Monday for business.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, precisely so. But as you have indicated, we will do the clear the backlog. But in order not to kill the momentum of the debate,
if time permits, we may continue with the debate as well.
Very well, thank you so
On
much.
that note, I would like to move that we adjourn the House till Monday, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Very well, thank you. Yes, minority
Speaker,
leadership.
I engage the deputy leader, and I rise to second the motion. However, Speaker, we have to, this is a statement that was adopted by this House, and we are being told now that questions will be done on Monday. But if you look at the statement, it's only statements that have been advertised. So let's emphasize the point that subject to the taking of questions in addition to the statement that has been advertised. We don't want a situation where Monday we come and they say that, well, the business statement doesn't reflect that. So that's important. And then to conclude, Speaker, I'm surprised we have passed the NHIA formula. We have also passed the GET fund. DACF, which is a constitutional fund. It is not statutory. Leader, can I have your attention? We have to arrange the administrator to be in the House. The assemblies are crying. Yes. They are crying. Assemblies are crying. So, well, so, Speaker, I'm simply saying that. No, you are not listening. I'm simply saying that to the well, Speaker, let me just conclude. I know we all want to bring the curtains down, but to the extent that we have passed statutory funds, GET fund, formula has been passed, NHI has been passed, and the one that is constitutional, we are dilly-dallying. What is the issue? So, Speaker, I want to implore you, give them some consequential directives. Next week, between Tuesday and Thursday, we should have the administrator in the House. I know you already have some outstanding, some 7.3 billion you have not paid, but that's not why I'm talking. I am talking about the passage of the formula. The formula has to be passed. Yes. I'm also aware that, Speaker, just conclude. I'm also aware that the finance minister stands in excess of some 55% in terms of capital investment. So you're not investing, you're not spending. So that they are not spending. That is why there's hardship all over. And you're not encouraging the GET fund administrator, the common fund administrator to bring the formula. Go and bring him. Go and bring him. Whatever means possible, go and bring the administrator of DACF. So that is very, very important. Very, very important.
Very important. I think the administrator was here about 2 weeks ago.
Speaker, let them respond. They can respond.
Anyway.
Speaker, number one, the honorable member, my friend, my brother, my Casford mate, and my counterpart, he was not here when we adopted the business statement. He was not. So I welcome him after the adoption of the business statement. What we did, and I said what we did was to engage the Honorable Health Minister, whose questions have been slated for Friday next, to bring it forward for Monday for him to come and respond to. And he's agreed. So subject to those amendments, we adopted the business, and he knows. He's only trying to do a Friday politics on a Thursday. He knows. Then two, the adoption of the formula is within time. We are not out of time. We've adopted 3, or we've adopted 2. It's there with the DAC. We have arrangements are for our foot for him to come next week for that to be done. And he's aware that he wants to do a Friday politics on a Thursday. Regarding the issues with the finance minister, I don't know where he's getting that from. Speaker, he just returned from some cocoa farms. And he was told that they are healthy, they are fine, they are happy. And because of that, he has nothing to say. Speaker, on this note, I second the motion for adjournment.
Honourable members, the motion has been moved and it has been seconded. It is before the House for consideration. And it's my singular honor and task to put the question. And the question is, as many as are in favor that the House adjourn to Monday, 10 o'clock in the forenoon, say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned to Monday, 10 a.m. in the forenoon. The House stands adjourned.